And we are back to the Around the 232 weekly recap show. Unfortunately, we are falling a little bit behind, um, but we're getting caught up tonight. The league didn't slow down, and neither did the storylines. Welcome back to the Around the 32 weekly recap show. We've got 2 weeks to catch up on, and in that time, we've seen championship contenders stumble, underdogs make statements, recruiting battles heat up, and the power rankings get turned completely upside down. So instead of breaking down every single game, we're going to tell you the biggest stories that shaped weeks 3 and 4 of the season. Coming up on today's show, Notre Dame makes perhaps the loudest statement of the season. Tennessee shocks Texas. Georgia battles through a roller coaster stretch while dominating on the recruiting trail. Louisville and Utah continue their climb up the rankings, and we'll sit down with the head coaches of Texas and Georgia to hear their thoughts after two very different but equally defining weeks. Plus, we'll introduce two familiar programs with brand new leaders, take a look at the latest recruiting classes, reveal the updated power rankings, and normally we would preview the next week. But as of this recording, week 5 is already in the books. I'm telling you guys, I'm behind. Um, so I plan on getting week 5 knocked out either tonight or tomorrow. Maybe we might have two weekly recap show drops at one time. Who knows? But this is around the 32, where we have 32 coaches, 32 programs, one dynasty. This is college football our way. Let's go. Starting off, like always, with the scoreboard. We have two combined here, right? We have week 3 and week 4 at one time this time. Um, and there's some games that, man, they they left us scratching our heads here. Okay, so user versus user, Notre Dame, Bobby. This man is on a generational tear. All right, beating Michigan, who is, dude, is so good, and making him look like he's new. 63-21 is absolutely absurd. You have Utah beating Cal. Cal has kind of fallen from grace since that last interview. Um, I don't know what's going on there. I don't know too much about this Utah user, but he seems to be pretty legit. Texas Tech, Reese, handling business against Houston. This was a broadcast game where Bobby and B Goins done the commentary. Was a absolutely great game to watch. Awesome commentary to listen to. It was fun to be a part of. Um, LSU and Ole Miss. This was Ole Miss's last game before returning from vacation. Was battling some connectivity issues once again. But we take nothing away from Brandon. He is a mainstay in this league. Dude is gonna make the playoffs every single year that we do this thing. Unless something ridiculous happens. Louisville, since his week 0, was it week 0? Yeah, I think it was week 0 loss, and absolute manhandling by Michigan, has been pretty much perfect. I mean, the man is playing ball. I'm curious to see if he can continue this. And then we have Michigan winning, taking on USC 35-28. Uh, I'm enjoying watching this USC user also. I didn't know too much about him coming into this season, and he's definitely hanging with some of the big boys, putting up some numbers. It's impressive to watch. And then we have the two that will be on the show here tonight. And this is part of the reason why I wanted these two. Because you have Georgia against Oklahoma, 17-21. Uh, it's no secret that Oklahoma is one of the lower end users here. Uh, I've said it before. Great guy, not always a great player. So curious to see what Eddy has to say about this game and why it was so close. And then you have Texas dropping one to Tennessee. That's an any given Saturday type of game, right? Texas, man, I would pick Texas almost any week over almost anybody in this league, except for maybe the top five. Then you kind of have a toss up. Who's hot, who's not. Is it a home? Is it away? That's one of those that I've got to hear about this. I got to know what happened. And then the user versus computer. Computer is remaining ridiculous. I dropped one to Auburn last second. I think there was 5 seconds left in the game, and I ran a RPO that I really love with a tight end flat on the 1 yard line, and my receiver just watched the DB go around and tackle the tight end on the one instead of trying to get a hand on him, put something in his face, just completely disregarded any type of blocking there at all. Then you have Georgia dropping one to Arkansas. This was something that was talked about a lot in Discord chat. If you were outside of this league and you're watching these things, you need to join. You need to get in this chat. If you want free entertainment, you have some guys in here that they are at each other all day long, every day. And Eddy's one of those that he can't help it that he's Canadian. And everybody gives him hell for it. So this was something that was widely talked about whenever it first happened. Indiana at Missouri State. We've touched on that in the last recap show, and we also have a video up on TikTok now addressing this. It's a pretty cool little short video. If you have TikTok and you are interested, I strongly advise you to go check that out. This next one, I don't know if this is truly accurate or not. I think AI may have kind of messed up the teams here. I'm not 100% sure, but if Utah did beat Ohio State, I need to know about it. I need to do my research on that. Because whenever I looked at this graphic, I was like, whoa, hold up. For starters, Ohio State's not a computer. And we know that Utah is a user. So, what happened there? I have no idea. Speaking of having no idea what happened there, Virginia Tech, Boston College, Eastern Michigan, FCS, Midwest, you guys, I don't know. I don't know what the deal is there. Y'all are definitely trying to make a close run for bottom of the power rankings. So we've got a few new segments this week, and we're gonna roll right into them. New faces, same places, where we introduce new coaches of different teams. We have Money Mike 51 returning to the league. He was Mississippi State last year. Very polarizing figure. Some people loved him, some people hated him. He is taking over Alabama. This is very interesting. I told Hook that I wanted to address Alabama, and he didn't really want to give the old Alabama user too much time, too much energy. And while I agree with that, I do believe that the league needs to know a little bit. Um, Alabama, the old user done something that could have potentially compromised the entire integrity of the league, and he done it out of spite. He done it out of complete childishness. It's something that I don't think anybody here would condone if they knew exactly what it was. I ask you guys not to seek him out. If if you have long-standing conversations with him, just let bygones be bygones. Let it go. We have a new Alabama user. Um, I made a joke the other day that hurt people, and it seems like that kind of stands with him. So he did what he did, and he got the consequences that he got. And my big hope is that he doesn't go to another league and sabotage it the way that he attempted to sabotage ours. We've put a lot of hours, a lot of hard work, every single one of us. Not just me with the media, not just hooked and sticks with commissioners, but I mean you have Eddy in Georgia that has he has been on a tear with recruits. You have guys that are having amazing seasons. Bobby, Utah, Louisville's turning it around. I mean, we have guys that have put in a lot of effort in the short 5 weeks here. And if he had accomplished what he was attempting to accomplish, um, the league would probably not have been able to move forward. We would have had to have started from scratch, and it's very unfortunate. Um, so I think I've given him about as much space as I'm willing to at this point. I just wanted to be a little bit transparent with you guys without being uh, without fully giving him the attention that he was so desperately seeking. Um, so moving along, we also have another new face, same place. We have DC 305 inheriting Penn State. Um, don't know anything about this user. He's new. I am excited to see uh, what he's able to do at Penn State. We have a history with Penn State in this league with Sticks. So big shoes to fill. Big shoes to fill. I'm excited for him. Our next new segment is clips. All right, so uh, this is the place that I really want you guys to fall in love with. The recap shows right now are mostly all around the interviews, right? If we don't have interviews, we don't have a great show. I always want to have at least one interview. But if I can also have clips, if I can do a single top clip of the week or a top three or however, this could make this thing so much more enjoyable for everybody who watches it. And look, we have some great participation in this. We have guys that are watching every show. We have guys that are leaving comments. We have guys that are reacting in the Discord. So if you guys can start submitting those clips, those beautiful runs, those comebacks at the end of the game, last minute stands, interceptions, you know, dots, anything that makes you stop in the game and say, whoa, that could be a difference maker. Submit that, man, and we'll go through it and we'll decide, from our standpoint, what we want to acknowledge, as a top three or a top five or even a top 10 if we start to get enough clips. But we only have one for now. And without further ado, enjoy this one. So that was Utah turning it around against I'm sorry, who was it? Iowa State. Okay, so that must be the one that we had mistaken. It was Iowa State, not Ohio State on the scoreboard. But that was an incredible turn of events in that game. Um, but we're gonna move along. We have Hooked and Eddy joining us for interviews tonight. We're gonna start it off with Hooked. Uh, I think this is gonna be pretty interesting. Hooked, are you there, man?
Yo, what's up, man? Good to be here, dude.
What's going on, man? Love to have you here. We're
Yes,
gonna
sir.
dive right into this, man, because I am curious to hear what you have to say about this game against Tennessee.
Brother,
Uh,
I got one thing to say, man. I apologize to Longhorn Nation and the entire server for this, dude. Honestly, dude, I will say, man, at the end of the day, I just got outplayed, man. Tennessee, he's a user that's been around for a couple seasons. Last year didn't get the team draw that he necessarily wanted, and man, he got a solid squad this year and just outplayed me, and a lot to learn from in that game, dude. A lot to learn from.
that's Braxton, right? He's the user at Tennessee this year, I believe.
Yeah, dude, and I know that he's mutual friends with our BYU user last year and then Oklahoma State this year. So we runs with a good group of users, and I swear that that means a lot. Like those guys that you're labbing with consistently, those guys that you're playing with, texting with about the game, it matters a lot. Both those dudes are really solid users, and shit, man, like we both know at any given day that you play a good user, you could drop one, and so if you don't come ready to go in this league, you'll get caught, man. We've all realized that through the first quarter of this season.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you mentioned Oklahoma State, man. One goated is
Yeah,
he's a very underrated user in this league. I don't think he gets enough credit that he deserves, because of the conference, I guess. But if
yeah,
he were in one of those bigger conference, man, he would be one of those teams that a lot of people talk about for sure. Um, so coming into the
absolutely.
season, obviously you and Sticks 1 and 2 pretty much. You're viewed as one of the favorites to compete for a national championship year one. Texas. You at the helm. I mean, after the loss to Tennessee, what's your message to anyone who thinks Texas has taken a step back?
Man, at the end of the day, I'll be honest here, dude. We had to do a lot of looking in the mirror after that Tennessee game. I'll say that. I think the message would be sit tight. I think at the end of the day, two of the last three games for us on the schedule is going to be at LSU and at A&M, and I think
Mm,
at the end of the day, man, if we can go into Baton Rouge and get a win, which easier said than done, especially with Brandon at the helm in Baton Rouge and going into A&M, if we can be playing ball and playing good ball at that time, I'm fairly confident. But as you know, man, like we got an SEC schedule, and so trying to get to those games and trying to figure it out along the way is a dangerous path. And so um, I think we found the path we need to be on, and we're going to keep cooking to get there. And so I just say sit tight and watch the show in the meantime. I think we're going to get it ready to rock,
so you're hitting Longhorn Nation with the old Aaron Rodgers, huh?
dude.
RELAX.
You know
Relax.
me well, brother. You know me well.
Love it,
Yes,
man.
sir.
Love it. So what
I
happened
love
in
it.
the in this game for anyone who didn't watch? What was the big story here?
Man, I think at the end of the day, that Tennessee offense was cooking. I think the way I like to play defense a lot, and um, I like to sit back, I like to bend, don't break, and I think that's gotten me in trouble a lot early on this year. But at the end of the day, man, Braxton just he played well. He made the right decision. I threw out a little bit too much man coverage, and bit me in the ass, and it was solely due to him just making the right reads and playing good ball. And I think at the end of the day, man, I think that's the other thing in this game and the college football game in general is if you don't come into those tough away games with a solid game plan, especially offensively, and you're not picking passing concepts that you don't have to make adjustments on. You don't have to hot route to something you like. You're going to be in trouble. And so I think that was something that I heavily underestimated was that HFA in Knoxville, and then Braxton just balled out, man. If you watched that game, I think you definitely would have seen a much improved user, and dude, I think a real threat in the SEC, honestly.
Wow, wow, that's big praise. I sure hope Braxton's listening to this. That's big praise coming from you. Um, One loss doesn't end the season, but it can definitely change the way a team responds. What type of changes can we expect to see from Texas so that this doesn't happen again? I mean, is that just a focus thing? Is it better play calling, better scheming? What's the big changes that you feel like you have to make, or do you feel like you have to make any at all?
Dude, I think that's a great question, honestly. I think at the end of the day, after looking at the game clip and watching that back, the main thing I was so disappointed in myself in was how little we ran the ball. And I think that's something that I always try and pride myself on. Um, Not just in playing these games, but like watching football. Like I just that's the type of football that I love to watch, and I think that's something that in real life Texas struggles with as well, dude. Like running the ball inconsistently and not having an identity in the run game, and so I think that's something we lacked this last game. And I think the big change that I'm going to be focusing on down the road is trying to find that identity in the run game and sticking with it, even if it's just getting one, two, maybe having to punt one or two drives when you're not expecting to. Stick with the run, stick with just giving it to Raleek Brown, Hollywood Smothers, and letting those boys up front cook, man.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And anybody who knows you from years past know that you love to run the football. I mean, you've had several guys up for Heisman's, Hall of Fames. You know, you had one of them that was a nominee for the cover of the league. Uh, so it's no secret that you love running the ball. So to hear you say that you kind of got away from it, that's very telling to how that game
Mm.
script kind of went. And the SEC's loaded with talented coaches, not only talented teams, but guys who can really play. How confident are you that this team can still accomplish all of its goals despite this setback?
Man, dude, that's another good question. I definitely confident. I think at the end of the day, we all got to be confident in what we can do on the sticks, loading into each game. If not, I think you've lost it from the jump. So definitely confident going forward. But shit, man, like we've talked about, I think one of the big things is just the SEC schedule. Like knowing I've got Florida, like we've got a game. I've got to go play Cade with Ole Miss, a user that I'm not familiar with. You don't fully know the ins and outs of their system, how they're going to attack the game, and then ending at LSU at A&M. I think confident going into every game, but at the end of the day, aware that the user on the other side of the field is just as confident, I would assume, because everyone's good and everyone can really go win an SEC title this year. And so I think that's the fun of it. Going into the game confident, dude, but um, respecting the opponent. Like I know, like in our game, it's going to be an absolute battle. I know going to Baton Rouge, it's going to be an absolute battle. Going to Kyle Field, it's going to be crazy. And so um, getting ready for each one of those individually, I think, is a big thing too.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I think what you said there with confidence is a major factor. And seeing you drop this game to Tennessee, I think gives the other users confidence. It makes you look a little
Yeah.
bit human,
Dude, yes,
so
totally,
so
totally.
it definitely gives them that confidence as well.
Yeah.
So
And
so you
I or
go ahead,
not to
go ahead.
interrupt, man, but I think that's a great point too. And I think that's the beauty of these leagues is that seeing a guy take a little hit to the armor and being like, man, I can go get that. Like I can go get that win. I've seen how someone's done it. I've seen how you've done XYZ. Let me replicate that. Let me go beat that user. I think that that's the beauty of these leagues, dude. And I think anyone who did watch that Tennessee game, you should have seen that and been like, "Oh shit, man, I can go beat that guy," because I think you can. I think
Yeah,
a lot of people could at this time, and dude, that's the fun of it.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Whenever you're gonna watch this back, you're gonna hear me talk about Louisville. Who
Yeah.
has really come on the scene the last couple weeks at the beginning of the season. He dropped a massive dud, against Michigan, and he looked like somebody
Hmm.
that, was probably gonna be a lower end user, and then as time has come along the last couple weeks, he's played really well. Uh,
Totally,
and
man.
it's like I said earlier, man. It's any given Saturday.
Yeah,
You just
yeah.
never know what you're gonna get. So you've talked a little bit about some of the teams remaining on your schedule. Myself, Cade, Brandon, Texas A&M. Is there any one team in particular that you have circled on your calendar as an opportunity to make a statement? And do you have a message for the rest of the SEC or the rest of the league in general?
And message to the rest of the league and the SEC would be the same. I think have fun. We'll see everyone at the end. I think that's the beauty of this thing is in each conference, there's so many users this year that I think could go grab a conference title, that could go grab a playoff spot. And so I think stick with it, have fun with this season, and let's see where the chips fall. I think man, a key game on the schedule. I really, man, and this is something I think that me and Brandon have talked about going back to gosh, probably a week after we ended 26 was just looking forward to Arch going to Baton Rouge, Levitt versus Arch, Lane versus Sark, just that whole battle going on. Um, Towards the end of the season, I think that's just going to be spectacular. And for me, like it's selfish, and I know it's something that intrigues Brandon too. But just that Manny name going back to Louisiana, playing in Baton Rouge, I think is something that's super cool. And hell, dude, I think it could be something that decides a playoff spot, an SEC title spot, or um, I don't know, maybe a recruiting battle down the line. So I think that's one that definitely have my eyes on, and every time it's great playing Brandon. We've had some great matchups in the past, and just an OG in this league and a great dude.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's the one that I was thinking of also. It's always fireworks whenever you guys play each other. Um, one more quick question. I was gonna wrap it up, but you
Yeah,
said something at the beginning there that kind of made my ears perk up a little bit. So see you at the end. Is that you calling your shot? Are you saying that
man.
you're gonna be in the natty?
Dude, I think I maybe said too much. I ain't gonna pull a Namath here, but at the end of the day, dude, I'm confident in where we're heading, and I think I'm gonna get this thing turned around, dude. I'll be honest, man. I started the college football road to the playoff regs with like a 25-3 record, and then I went on that break like we talked about on vacation, and that Tennessee game shocked the hell out of me too, dude. I think I went in overconfident, and so I think having the time to reevaluate, we're feeling good about the horns, dude. I'll say that. However, the tone of Sark's press conference today at the SEC Media Days, dude, I think that's about how we're feeling in this Dynasty League too. We're feeling good.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. There is no doubt in my mind that you're gonna turn this thing around, and we'll see you in the playoffs for sure. And I appreciate your time. As always, it's a pleasure having you. Um, we appreciate everything that you do here.
Oh, dude, I'm hyped to be here, man, and I just want to shout out this entire thing and the entire league. This is by far and away all like the coolest thing that we've ever done in the damn league, and dude, I just feel lucky that you wanted me on here. I can't lie. I'm available anytime, and I appreciate everyone in this damn league. You guys make it what it is, man.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. We're trying to get a wide variety of people here, and you and Sticks are two that I definitely want here as much as we can have you guys.
Yes, sir. Dude, and I'll say this real quick. I appreciate you letting me not follow Eddie because I don't think I could have followed that energy. So I appreciate the order here.
Absolutely, absolutely. It was very intentional.
I appreciate you, man.
All right, man. Have a good evening.
All right, peace, guys.
All right, so that was hooked, and we're gonna move into Eddy with Georgia. This is going to be the freest entertainment that you have got all night long. So, Eddy, are you there, my man?
How we doing? Can you hear me?
Oh, I can definitely hear you.
Oh, we
Uh,
loud?
no, no, you're good. You're good.
Oh, okay.
Man, we're gonna jump right into it. Last 2 weeks, it's kind of been a roller coaster. Surprising computer loss to Arkansas, narrow victory over Oklahoma. How would you describe where your team is right now?
Yeah, listen, we've all had our CPU battles this year. The CPU is something different this year. As far as even reading zones is difficult. In 26, you could throw a man in motion, and if they had one or two high, you'd be able to tell right what they were in if somebody stuck with them. But this year, it's their corners are at different depths. It seems like they're adjusting stuff on the fly as if they were a user.
Yeah.
And that Arkansas game, they were just tough. I couldn't move the ball. They were holding me out, and I was playing. I want to say I played maybe 2 drives of defense, and I was like, "Oh, this is going nowhere. Let me switch to offense only." And that's what killed me in the end. My defense held them out for the majority of the game. It was a 3-3 game, and then all of a sudden, the last drive, they had like 3 big running plays scored. They went up 10-3, and I got the ball back with 15 seconds, and there was nothing I could do.
That's a heartbreaker. That is heartbreaking. Despite the mixed on-field results, though, Georgia is making it rain with recruiting. um, yeah, I mean, you even got the number one overall prospect, the 111. How important is recruiting to building your long-term vision for this program?
Right now, I'm considering it very important. I mean, I was a top 10 recruiting class every season in 26, and I don't feel like that had really much to show because I feel like we've talked about in other conversations before, it was really easy to obtain a 99 squad and it not feel like a 99 squad.
Mm.
And hopefully I'm trying to, fingers crossed, that this allows me to compete later on when everyone starts to get the game figured out. I'm hoping that it gives me a little bit of a competitive edge against some of these guys in here that I know are really good on the sticks.
Is there any concern about the amount of NIL that you're spending right now?
Um, Honestly, no. I'm doing bare minimum for pretty much everybody. There's only been 2 players that I've actually really given a substantial amount of money to, and I still have enough money right now to give everybody on my roster raises and have this class coming in. So I'm not too worried about how much I'm spending. I think I'm getting a lot of miscredit for the amount of NIL that I'm going to be spending here.
I think it's a topic that people love to talk about for sure. That and your Canadian residence.
That's insane. That's so insane to me. I don't. He went crazy on the Photoshop and it just
hey,
stuck. I guess.
hey,
I don't know. I guess I'm Canadian.
I plead the fifth, man.
Yeah, that's great.
So against Oklahoma, you escaped with a win, but it wasn't the dominant performance that many people would expect out of that game. What did you learn about your team in a game where things weren't really clicking the way that they probably should have?
So, first thing I want to say is Schmitty. He's gotten a lot better. I think all the doubt in the beginning he gave himself and other people were giving him isn't as warranted now because one, he felt like a different user completely, and two, that Oklahoma team, it really is stacked. It's really hard to make things happen against that defense. Even Hooked, I think he just had a close game with him too. I think it was a 2-score game or 1-score game until the last quarter.
Mm.
So he's definitely turned things around. I think the number one thing I need to focus on is I need to find my plays, not so much my playbook, because I like the playbook that I'm using. I just don't have my 5 or 6 guaranteed short down yards scenarios.
Yeah.
When I get 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6, I start to panic a little bit because I don't have a play or a couple of plays yet out of a couple formations that I know I'm getting 5 yards out of. I think I need to just explore more and just lock a few in.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm glad you said that about Schmitty. And if anybody has watched my recap shows, I talk about him nearly every show. What a lot of people don't know is that I'm actually the one who brought Schmitty in. We had played each other in a different league, and he was, if I remember right, Army. I know he was one of the military teams, and he could not throw the ball. His quarterback was absolutely atrocious. Had a noodle arm, and I was playing as Tulane, and it was a very tight game. It was a very competitive game, and I feel like whenever he first got into this league, coming in as Kentucky with the Kentucky curses you love to talk about, um,
It's true.
coming in with Kentucky as one of the lower end SEC teams, in a brutal SEC schedule with some of the best users that I've ever personally witnessed being in the SEC. He was just kind of fighting an uphill battle the whole time. I don't think that he's as bad as some people think he is. Me and Hook just talked about confidence and how much that can matter with certain coaches, and I think that him being in Oklahoma and getting some of these close games against some of the top guys in the league can definitely start to build that confidence a little bit.
Oh, absolutely. I feel like this whole fresh game cycle is a chance for some people to, completely turn things around. And I think it's also going to be a chance to see some giants fall, as we saw, Texas losing to Braxton, like you said, it made him feel human. Not that Braxton's a bad user, but Texas is just great.
Yeah,
So it makes everybody, ooh, ears perk up. What's that? Is that a human
right.
controlling that team?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Um, and in regards to you in Georgia, you've experienced a lot of ups and downs so far in the four weeks as of right now. Even though week five has just advanced, do you think those early challenges will make Georgia a more dangerous team down the stretch?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm gonna be 100% honest. I don't see myself winning a natty, but I think we're serious playoff contenders, and I think we're gonna shock a few people. And I think it's season one. We have a lot of time to recover, to recuperate, and get some good recruiting classes to come in and shake things up.
Are you saying that you don't think you're gonna win a natty year one or at all?
I'm not counting myself out ever, but statistics are statistics. We got like we just talked about confidence,
Hmm.
but there's also a sense of reality to it.
Yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, I consider you one of the better users here. And if
Clip it.
you play your cards right, I mean, the playoffs could run through Georgia sometime. And if you got to go into Georgia and you got to play in that environment, that's tough, man. Um, against a really good team with a really good user, uh, that's absolutely natty material. Uh, so I think it's a possibility. I'd never count you out. I think you have a much better chance of making a national championship than Hokie fan does. Uh, uh,
Uh,
love you,
don't
Hokie
don't
fan.
yeah, I was gonna say, don't hate on my son like that.
um, so wrapping it up, man. We're already at 40 minutes for this recap show. It's probably the longest one that we've had yet, which I kind of figured because it's 2 weeks wrapped up in one. Um,
Oh yeah.
and I have you and Hooked on the interview, so I figured those would be pretty entertaining.
Hey, I'm just trying to please the people, man.
Absolutely, you do that a lot. Uh, looking ahead, what should the rest of the around the 32 coaches expect from Georgia over the second half of the season? And do you have a message for the rest of the league?
Um, like I said, just don't count us out yet. I think even if this season doesn't turn out the way that we want, it's the first season on a new game. We've got a learning curve to hit too. Like I said, with that CPU being an actual contender this year, it's going to be a learning curve. But I think you can expect good things out of Georgia for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely, man. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you stopping by. And good luck for the rest of the season, man.
Absolutely, brother. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Have a good one.
You too, man.
All right. So that was Eddy and Hooked. Two very good guys, two very entertaining guys. Always love speaking with those guys. Even even whenever it's a lot of joking and clowning. They're two really good people to have in your corner at times. Um, so we're gonna move along. We're gonna try and wrap this thing up pretty quickly. But unfortunately, the next segment is a big one because it's commits. And over the last 2 weeks, we have had a flood of commits come in. You heard me touch on it a little bit with Georgia and the amount of money that they're spending getting some of these guys in here. So far, he has a total NIL spend of 880, and he is the number one ranked class in the country at this moment. Um, just taking a look at some of these guys, you have the 111 Max Vasher, Will linebacker that he's paying 190, 5-star guy. It's probably going to be an immediate difference maker on that team if I had to guess. Um, couple of linemen of all 4 stars. A little bit of defense sprinkled in there. Corners, Sams, free safeties. Playing in the SEC, you're going to have to be able to win in the trenches. You're going to have to have some absolute studs on that offensive line to keep your quarterback nice and pretty. Um, I think he's doing a great job so far with recruiting. Um, as long as he can continue to pay these guys, Georgia is the most cash-strapped team in the game. So coming in at number 2, you have Cal with Steven Sosa. Bunch of 3 stars. Either way, you have 6 recruits coming in. 305 spent. It's a little bit on the high end, I think, for six recruits with 3 stars. Um, Mostly all defense except for those 2 receivers. I'm curious to see what type of archetype they are, how well they fit into their system there at Cal. That's something that we're gonna have to monitor as time goes on. I haven't been shy about saying that I think that Cal is one of those teams that we need to watch closely going forward. They're going to be a really good team as they start to build over there, and man, I think they can do some damage for sure once they start to get that program turned around. And then we have 2 5 stars in Miami with Austin. Um, I know that this quarterback has, I think it's like a 91 speed. Um, and if I know anything about Austin, he is going to run that boy until his wheels fall off. If you have to play Austin at any point with a quarterback that has 91 speed, you better have 2 spies and your whole line on contain. I mean, that you just drop the rest in the coverage and pray. I mean, he is gonna gouge you on the ground with his quarterback if you allow him to. And then he has an absolute massive stud at edge coming in also. And he is paying these two guys an extremely large amount of money. So I'm curious to see how well that's going to pan out for him in the long run. Um, and then last but definitely not least, LSU with Brandon. We have two 4 stars here. Ronnie Coleman. Somebody posted the picture of the bodybuilder Ronnie Coleman. Gotta love it. Um, and then a right tackle. I'm not even gonna attempt to say that name because I'm just gonna embarrass myself. So they're definitely building there in Baton Rouge. I'm curious to see what the rest of the season has in store for recruiting. Uh, keep sending those in, guys. I enjoy seeing this, and I'm sure the rest of the league enjoys it as well. Um, and I love going through it this way. I need to do a better job of getting archetypes and kind of going through and seeing how certain recruits could potentially impact teams. But I mean, it's still early. This is still new for a lot of us. It's still new for me. I'm still trying to get in the rhythm of this thing. But I enjoy seeing those recruits land for you guys. I just wish a few more would land for me. Eddy, stop stealing everything in Florida. Stay in Georgia. Next, last but certainly not least, we have power rankings with some major shakeups. Remaining at number 1, we have our reigning king, Florida State, with hot sticks at the helm. Even though it is Florida State, you can never bet against sticks. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I'll put him against damn near anybody in this league. So he stays at 1. Bobby moves up to 2. Zach with Oregon up to 3, jumping 5 spots. That is a major move for him. I'm extremely excited for him. Happy to see him getting his feet off the ground in this season, man. That's absolutely incredible to watch. Brandon moving up 2 spots to 4. Austin following right behind him at 5. It's only poetic justice that both of these guys are 4 and 5, right? Because I mean they're so close, they're so tight. Reset 6. Michigan at 7. Texas falls to 8 after his loss to Tennessee. Ohio State falls to 9, and I'm not really sure that this is accurate. I think because of the clip that we saw earlier, where it was Iowa State and not Ohio State, in the clip, I think that's the game that we kind of touched on in the scoreboard that maybe wasn't really accurate. So if that's not very accurate, then I don't think that Ohio State drops. But we have Tennessee rounding out the top 10, jumping up 10 spots because of that massive win over Texas. Extremely shocking for a lot of people. I'm sure it did not shock Braxton at all in any way, shape, or form. Some of the other big movers we have is Louisville. We talked about him, earlier on. Has been on an absolute tear. Eddy with Washington at 12. I wanted to get him for an interview last week. He's one of those guys that I think could definitely be a playoff contender year in and year out. Utah moving up 8 spots. That's another big move. USC dropping 5. I'm not entirely sure about that one. I don't know what the AI saw there, because I don't think that USC has dropped the game, and it could just be because of all the movement, in that top 15 area. Alabama dropping to 17, and this is somebody, this is, well, a team that's gonna move a lot over the next couple weeks as Money Mike kind of gets accustomed to Alabama. They're probably not gonna sit at 17 very long. Eddy dropping all the way down to 18. Backs at 19. I don't know what's going on there with him. He hasn't been very active. He hasn't been very great at communicating, which is very unfortunate because he's such a good user. It's it's hard to see that happen, and it's possible that maybe he's out of the league now. I don't want to say for sure because I know that we do have a Penn State user, and I don't know whose place he took here. Florida drops to 20 after the loss to Auburn. Clemson standing pat at 21. Josh is another one that he hasn't been very active. He hasn't been communicating very well, which is so unfortunate because I had such high hopes for him at Clemson. Hopefully, whatever he has going on can kind of get turned around here shortly. One goat at Oklahoma State, big drop from 7 spots. Cal dropped 7 spots. UCLA finally moving in the right direction, and then Eastern Michigan dropping back down to 32 after his loss to an FCS team. There's a lot of movement, and as the season progresses, there's going to be even more movement, and this is something that we're going to carry year to year. It's not going to reset at the beginning of every season. It's something that's going to follow us. This is our league rankings. It's not like the top 25 that it's going to reset every season. So if you don't like your ranking here, do something about it. Win games, right? Quit losing to FCS teams. Pull out those massive upsets like Braxton did. Don't win close games against quote-unquote lower-end users like Eddy did. And I feel like with that very close match that Schmitty should probably be higher than 27 at this point. And I think as the season progresses and as the seasons progress, we will see him rise. We will definitely see him rise up the ranks, and I'm excited to watch his journey. But that's gonna do it for us, guys. That's gonna do it for the week 3 and 4 recap. I'm still a little bit behind, but I'm trying to get this out to you guys so that we can all enjoy it together. Life and work and managing the league and internet issues, and I had a lot go on this week that kind of prevented me from being able to get this out in the timely fashion that I would have loved to do it in, but it's here now, and hopefully I can get on track and keep some type of schedule for you guys. But wrapping up the last 2 weeks reminded us just how quickly things can change in a 32-team dynasty. Championship contenders have been tested, new contenders have emerged, recruiting battles are heating up, and some are just absolutely blown away. Every week it feels like someone new is making a statement. Whether that's good or bad, that's up to you. As we head into week 5, the margin for error continues to shrink. Every user game, every battle, every decision from here on out could shape conference races and the college football playoff. As always, thank you to every coach who submitted interviews, content, and helped make this community what it is. Your participation is what keeps Around the 32 growing. If you enjoyed today's recap, be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, join the conversation in Discord, continue to pump out that content to us so that we can get it back to you in this beautiful form that we all love. We'll continue bringing you the interviews, the recruiting updates, power rankings, broadcasts, and everything happening around the league. This is 32 coaches, 32 programs, and one dynasty. College football, our way. This has been Around the 32. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.